It's the Brad and John Show.
It is the Brad and John Show. Today's date is the 28th of January, 2026. It's a Wednesday. What do we say about Wednesdays, John? What do we say?
Hump day.
Hold on a minute. I didn't turn your pot up. Go one more time.
Hump day.
Very good. And what do we do in... Here we go again.
Here we go again.
What do we do in the B block, John?
It's time for Brad's Top 3.
It's
time for Brad's Top 3.
And what we do is we start it off with...
It's number 3.
John, here's a story that I thought was interesting. Happened just last night. It's a story about our neighbors to the north, immediate neighbors to the north. This Iowa. You know what? I thought about something for a minute. I'm going to diverge just from my main point, which I never do. But think about it. Iowa is 4 letters, but it's 3 syllables. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I think most people say Iowa.
Yeah, Iowa.
I don't think people say Iowa.
It's 3 syllables, right? Iowa, Iowa, Iowa.
I think most functional humans say I and then wa. I don't think most people say Iowa.
So you think they say Iowa?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think so. Okay. Maybe in South City they do, but not here, not in a good part of town. Okay. Trump was in Iowa last night.
No way. Was he talking about E15 and other ag issues there, Brad?
Yes, among other things.
Oh, wow. Was he really? Okay.
And he went to a restaurant, and a man came up to him and said, "Can I pray for you, Mr. Trump?" And Mr. Trump says, "Sure." And the guy gave a prayer right there in the restaurant.
And do you think that's out of the ordinary?
No, I thought it was an interesting story.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. I mean, I think there's a lot of cases. I think if have ever been around an elected official and you're in public, I think there's a lot of folks that come up to you and say, "Hey, can I pray for you for a minute?"
Well,
and then the candidate takes a little time and you bow your head for a minute, and it's a beautiful thing.
But think about it. If it would have been Joe Biden in that restaurant, he would have said, "I don't want you to pray for me. Just give me some ice cream." Don't you think that would have been the case?
Maybe, or most likely, Biden would have been polite and bowed his head and then fallen asleep.
Okay, whatever. You ready for number 2?
Yeah.
It's time for Brad's number 2.
It is number 2. A story that John does not have on his big johncombest.com website.
Now, how do you know, Brad? You don't go to my website, as we know from years of doing the show. You don't actually go to my website. How do you know I don't have it?
John,
I guess it doesn't have anything to do with Missouri politics.
I'm 98% sure you don't have the number 2 story.
Did you check on my website today, Brad, or not?
I did, and I'm 100% sure that you don't have my first story, okay?
Okay, I'm ready.
Because of the fact that the first story, there is no internet source for it as of yet, but there will be probably.
Okay, there you go. Then it would not be by definition on my website. What's story number 2, though, Brad?
Story number 2 is an article in the St. Louis Business Journal about the county executive race. You don't have this, do you?
Well, Brad, why don't I link to stories about the St. Louis County executive race?
Well, but we've talked about this before. We
talk about it on the show. And for folks that are brand new to the show, let me take a second here, Brad. Welcome to our show. If you hear Brad referencing things on my website, I don't link to stories about county politics or county government. There are 114 counties in Missouri, plus the city of St. Louis. And as I mentioned dozens of times on this show in the same context, I don't link to stories about county government or county executive races. Go ahead, Brad. Thank you.
The article in the St. Louis Business Journal, the headline is, "Why Steve Ellman is in Good Shape for Re-election in St. Charles." John, your comment on that?
Well, I haven't read the story, and you haven't either, because it's behind a paywall and you won't pay for it. What's the point of the story, Brad, and who wrote it?
It's the St. Louis Business Journal.
And who? Yeah, okay, so you haven't clicked on it yet. You just read the headline. Can you look, Brad? Can you bring it up and see who actually wrote the story? Is it Dave Drebus or is it Jacob Kern or who is it?
Who are those people? Never heard of them before.
Do you want me? I'm guessing you don't have it in front of you. Do you want me to look it up?
Yeah, look it up real quick. But okay, here's the interesting thing. Okay, and I have to tell you, John, I'm tempted to get into this race myself. What would you think if I said I was going to run for? You're laughing already.
I think nobody would be surprised, and I think what they would do is, I think candidates, whether you're Jason Law or Steve Ellman or Bill Eigel, you would be torn, because on one hand, you would love to go to a candidate forum and get to see Brad Hildebrand's charming visage everywhere you went. On the other hand, you would be more likely to just dangle a shiny object and say, hey, Brad, I heard that somebody is sending a cease and desist to God Squad. And Brad, you're about as hard as to distract as a squirrel in heat in a bed of acorns. So I don't think it would be a big issue. But I think get into the race, Brad. I'll look, since you haven't invested the time to find out who wrote this, I'll look that up while you continue.
Well, John, I'm going to ask you some questions. Okay. At this point, the race is, and I know John Conlon is going to probably fire off some nasty emails if he's listening to me.
He's not a nasty guy. I don't know why you would suggest that.
No,
and the piece was written, of course, by Dave Drebus, and it was posted 4 days ago. So congratulations, Brad. You're on top of it. Go ahead.
You didn't have it, John, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, and why wouldn't I have it, Brad?
Because
it's about county politics.
I already
please
heard.
Continue your story.
I heard the explanation. Okay. Wouldn't you agree at this point the race is between Eigel and Ellman? Pretty much it, right?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't say that. I would definitely think that Jason Law has a lane. I mean, Brad, if you're sitting on right now $300,000, you definitely have the opportunity to be a major player in this.
What's your buddy Tom Smith say about it?
I have no idea, Brad.
I thought you talked about this time before. Tom says that Steve Ellman's already put his order in for 5,622 yard signs, and that's going to ensure him.
That's a funny meme. Well, because Steve Ellman didn't listen to your Frank Sinatra anti-yard sign thing. So continue your thesis, though. You think that, and explain your rationale of why you think it's essentially a two-person race here.
Well, I think that, here's the problem. Jason Law and Steve Ellman are not taking the fresh piece of meat that's being dangled right in front of their face, okay? And I don't think either of them ever will. Because if I were the candidate, if I were in this race, I would go right after Bill Eigel. And I would show him, like, okay, Bill Eigel says he's going to, get rid of property taxes. Then why is he parading around on Main Street, according to him, when he's actually on 2nd Street? He doesn't even know what street he's on. With Soupy Shore, isn't her name? Soupy Shore, isn't that her name?
Snoopy Sales. She has a radio show from the 1950s.
Why is he parading around on 2nd Street in St. Charles with the petition? Because if he's going to get rid of personal property taxes, he don't need no stinking petition. When he's elected, he can just say, Executive Order Day 1, no more personal property tax, right? So I would, if I were Steve Ellman or Jason Law, I would say, well, Bill Eigel's only saying he's going to get rid of personal property tax. We're going to get rid of real estate tax. We're going to get rid of sales tax. We're going to get rid of every tax there is. When you get your bill from Ameren UE, there's sale tax on there. When you get your bill from those nice people at Spire, that's sales tax in there. Missouri American Water, sales tax. I'm going to get rid of all the taxes. Bill Eigel's only going to get rid of personal property tax. So what do you want? No personal property tax or no taxes, period? And of course, that would box Bill Eigel into a corner. Now, the part of that is, anybody's going to say, anybody who's smart's going to say, well, hold on a minute now. You can't do that. You can't get rid of sales tax and real estate tax. You can't do that. Who cares? In politics, you just say whatever's going to get you elected, right? Just whatever the hell is going to get you elected.
I love the no tax theory, Brad, and that you've discussed that and proposed that multiple times on the show. I think one of the things that I had just asked as a follow-up, again, was why do you think this is only a two-person race and not a three-person race?
Well, the last time you had your Tom Smith statistics, it was pretty much Bill Eigel and Steve Ellman, and I think Steve has see, what's interesting about it is I think you can draw a demographic line. Steve has the 50-plus crowd, and Bill Eigel has the 50-minus crowd, and Jason Law has everybody, okay? And the problem on that is you can't, when you're dividing the pie, when you can't get 3 equal slices, I think there's going to be a small slice and 2 big slices. That's what I look at the thing. That's what I'm saying. But to just correct you, Brad, the last time we discussed this, Jason Law had the second most cash on hand and had more cash on hand than Steve Ellman. But it's not about cash. Remember,
Kamil, you just said that it was okay. I'm just correcting you. You said that Eigel and Ellman had all the money and Jason Law didn't.
No.
So that fact was wrong.
If I said money, I didn't mean that. You had some statistic. You brought it up in the air that Tom Smith had done his polling and that Eigel had 32% of the vote and Ellman had or it was more than that. It was like Eigel had 50 or 39% of the vote and Ellman had 46% of the vote and the rest was Jason Law. I can't remember the numbers, but you brought that up. And it was you said this was your Tom Smith polling stuff, right?
I have absolutely no recollection of that, Brad. In fact, I was just going to ask if you have seen any polling about this.
No, I know you brought this up.
Oh, hey, I could be mistaken, and Brad, I'll look back at the archives and I'll gladly stand corrected if I was wrong about that.
Because Tom Smith, see what he does is a lot of people don't know
Brad,
this.
for people who don't know, who is Tom Smith?
He used to be a Lincoln Mercury dealer down in South County. And matter of fact,
Go ahead.
Can I tell you a funny story? Honest to God, he was a Lincoln Mercury dealer down in South County, and we had a guy on our station who was named Tom Smith. This goes back to the old KSLQ days, and this guy, this DJ, Tom Smith, I hope he's still living and have a prosperous life, and I hope he got the hell out of the radio business because he sucked. But he was like this big ego-headed guy. Him and his wife, they'd show up at the station all the time, and they were like always Petas, if you know what I'm saying. And one of the salespeople said, you know what? I'm going to go call in Tom Smith because I'm Tom Smith, the Lincoln Mercury, because wouldn't it be great if our Tom Smith talked about Tom Smith, Lincoln Mercury? So they trotted Tom Smith down to the Tom Smith, Lincoln Mercury down in South County, and Tom Smith, the Lincoln Mercury dealer, was enamored with Tom Smith, the radio DJ, and say, yeah, I'll advertise, and more than that, I'll let you drive one of our new cars. So he gives Tom Smith a new car, and he totals it. So he gives Tom Smith another new car, and he totals it. And Tom Smith gets Tom Smith another new car, and he totals it. And then Tom Smith got fired. So that's my Tom Smith story. So did you like that, John? I've never told that one before.
That's amazing. Yeah. So by the way, Brad, and so you bring up a good point. Apparently, there was a survey conducted in August of 2025. Let's get this right.
Yeah.
So that was however many months ago. And a Survey St. Louis phone poll that is, and Survey St. Louis, which is Tom Smith, is working for one of the candidates. And I don't remember exactly who it is. Bill and Steve Ellman was not in the race in that period of time. Bill Eigel had roughly 39% of the vote. Mike Elam had 7%. And Jason Law had 9%. So that's the most recent poll that I see done here, Brad.
Are the rest of the people non-committed? Is it because that only comes up to about 50%?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people that have no idea that there's a St. Charles County race. So from a quick Google here, Brad, there has been no polling, at least it's been released publicly, that shows Ellman versus Eigel versus Law.
Well, it's coming.
So to assume that to just make up numbers, I think would be wrong.
John, it's coming out soon because of the fact when I'm out in St. Charles County, I see the Tom Smith yard signs and it says vote right here. And you get out of your car and there's 3 categories and you check which one. And that's the.
And you vote for one of Brad's AI. Which AI song about yard signs do you like the most? I like the Sinatra one. That's my hometown one now.
You ready for
I can't wait to hear what story number 1 is, Brad.
Okay, here we go.
And now, big finish, Brad's number 1.
Okay, first off, I will be very transparent and say, and I've already sent him a text, Marc Cox in 97.1, and I sent him a text, essentially, you want me to quote my text I said to Marc Cox this morning?
Please do, Brad. You're headed that way anyway. You're bringing up your large font screen so you can read it.
At 5:30 this morning, I texted Marc Cox, congrats, great journalism. Why would I be doing that, John? Why would I be doing that?
Let me guess. He broke a story about fill in the blank. I don't know.
How does the name Christian Kirk ring a bell to you?
Wow. So this is the gentleman that once owned or probably still owns a Tesla. What happened in the Christian Cook vandalism case?
Is it Kirk or Cook? No, it's
Kirk.
I think it's Kirk. Okay. And the gentleman's name is the 2 combatants in the story, not physically, but in court, is named William Howells, I believe. Is that his name as well?
Correct. Yep, that's his name. And and we gave an update recently on via CaseNet on the latest in that case. So what did Marc Cox have to say?
The story goes back to May when a gentleman who was in Kirkwood parked his, I believe it was a Cybertruck. I know it was some kind of a Tesla, but I do believe it was a Cybertruck. And he came out and there was a sticker on his truck that said F Elon. Okay. And the interesting thing was, what people don't realize about this Tesla vehicles, they have cameras that record all angles of the car, and that's so that they can do their self-driving and stuff like that. But they go all the time. It's like an 24/7 security system. And he saw the person that stuck a sticker on the car. So I don't know how many weeks later, maybe so many days later, this gentleman, Mr. Christian Kirk went back into Kirkwood, parked his car again. He comes out. There's another F. Elon sticker on his car. So he proceeds to download the video, and it's the same dude. And he thinks to himself, I think I've seen this guy. So he goes in one of the Kirkwood little coffee shops there, which you have to pay $30 to get inside, and you have to get an ordinance variance to go inside if you're not from Kirkwood. He goes into one of the Kirkwood coffee shops and confronts this guy with his camera rolling, his video camera rolling on his phone, and confronts this dude. And what did the dude say?
He said, no, it wasn't him.
It wasn't me. So Christian Kirk decided enough is enough. He called the Kirkwood police. Kirkwood police showed up, wrote a report. The system, the thing went through the system, through the legal system. And last night in the Kirkwood Municipal Court, the two people faced off. Christian Kirk was there, and William Howells was there with his attorney. And guess who else was there, John?
I'm guessing it was Marc Cox.
Marc Cox. Now, I got to ask you a question. Do you think anybody from Channel 5 was there?
Of course not.
Channel 4?
Oh, but St. Louis Public Radio had 33 out of their 34 staff members there.
No, they had no.
They had somebody for ambient audio. They had somebody for a follow-up. They had a videographer there.
Wrong. Marc Cox was the only, and see, Marc Cox used to be a TV reporter for Channel 4, and quite honestly, I thought he was always very good, and I still think he's a great journalist. And so he was there, and Mr. Howells took an Alford plea. You know what an Alford plea is?
Yeah, I have the CaseNet case pulled up right here, Brad. Yeah, and an Alford plea means he's not, if I recall correctly, he's not admitting guilt or innocence, correct?
Yes, he's just essentially taking the consequences of the court, and the court assigns a sentence to him. And you know, does it show right there what he got? I got it right here if you don't have it.
Yeah, go ahead, read it, Brad. I have it in front of me, but go ahead.
2 years probation and 25 hours of community service. Now, after the court case was over, and Marc Cox brought this up this morning, that since they had this horrible situation with the shooting at the Kirkwood City Hall, they've narrowed down the entrances and the exits into the court area there to one entrance. You have to go in through that entrance, you have to go out through that entrance, and when you go in, there are metal detectors now. So Marc Cox chases after Mr. Howells, and he won't say anything. And his attorney, then he goes to his attorney who is trailing behind Mr. Howells, and his attorney says something to Marc, which you can't really hear very well, but yet he starts recording Marc Cox like, oh my God, I'm going to file suit against this guy because he's doing something in St. Louis that nobody does. He's doing real journalism. We can't have that. We can't have real journalism, especially against my client, because my client is such a nice guy. He's, maybe he stuck a sticker on somebody's car that said, F Elon and blah, 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 blah. But you know what? He's an important member of the community because guess where he works, John? And I guess he still
he used to work at Washington University, right?
Did he get fired?
I don't know. At some point he worked there. I'm guessing he may or may not still be there.
And he was like a high-level research dude, wasn't he? Doesn't he have like a master's?
I think you just made up high level, but I think he worked in the research department. Sure.
Yeah, he's got like a PhD or an EDD or something like that. I think he's got that. So Marc Cox, I say to you, salute. And you know what? I'm looking upstairs right now. I'm looking into the sky. Oh, I hear it right now. I hear it. I can hear the voice. Can you hear it, John? It's sort of on the distance.
Yeah, he's right in your face. He would get 1 inch away from your face and he would say, what would he say, Brad?
Oh, Brad, Marc Cox should be congratulated. This is Dr. Kamil Winter. He did journalism just like I taught you to do journalism, Brad. John, hey, you should be so honored to be on the air with Brad Hildebrand because he is a purveyor of fine journalistic ethics, and I, from the grave, am appreciative of Brad's efforts. That's what he would say.
And you know what? To Kamil Winter, I say I am proud to be on the air with Brad. And I got to click over to the other line because I have a call from hell. And your mother is saying, I'm still not listening to Brad on the radio. And if this show was run by 2 women, it would be much better.
Okay, we have to take a break.